Hello, everyone, and welcome to Viewpoints, a video blog where myself, Sharon Kitzman, president of Dominion DMS, gets the chance to interview some of our wonderful technology partners. And today we're joined by James Rome, who is the CEO of Rome Technologies. Welcome, James.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Sharon. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Before we get started, about a little bit about your business and your product, I trust that all is going well for you so far in 2023 and that you had a successful launch to your year.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been an incredible journey, actually. I'm a second generation. My father actually started the business back in 1988. We started working with collision centers, mainly independents. And then over the last probably 10 or 15 years, we switched to focusing on dealers. And our goal is just to help them run their body shops more efficiently and profitably. And we do that in a number of different ways, mainly our shop management software to help them just regulate their workflow, get their cycle time down. And then after, working with about 1,200 of those guys, our expertise kind of came into play with more body shop consulting. So our goal is to help them standardize their operations through best practices to really get that car in and out. And obviously in a dealer environment, everything's based on the month. So the more cars you do in a month, the bigger number you post, and that's better for everyone. And obviously you're going to make happier customers if you're getting their car back on time.
Absolutely. Do you find that the combination then of the technology and your consulting services is maybe what sets you apart from some of your competitors?
Absolutely. I feel like there's a number of things that other competitors do, but mainly it's just, hey, we have a piece of software, here's a license, I'll wish you the best of luck. Our goal is to not only show them, a great piece of software, but also, it's like if you bought a hammer and then you got a blueprint to build a house. So our goal is to show them, hey, based on our experience, this is what works, this is what doesn't work, and we want to give them the quickest path to success.
Excellent. You said 1988, that feels like a long time ago. I think in 1991, I started in this industry and I was a support technician for another DMS provider, and body shops were just beginning to get automated. There were kind of the estimating systems that were in place from some of the insurance companies, but truly marrying that with the best technician to do the repair and all the different parts and labor fees was just starting to come into the industry. So I imagine you've seen a lot through that evolution.
Absolutely. And really, when you start talking about dealers and the pain points they have with collision repair, a lot of it comes down to the DMS environment. Because when you think about every other product out there, they all work with QuickBooks, right? Or some type of independent accounting software, but not necessarily every DMS. And that's really where one of Rome's strengths is we have an open API. We like to work with everyone if we can. Obviously, there's always a lot to do on a product roadmap, but our goal is to make that data flow more seamless. So when you think about the collision center, traditionally speaking, it's kind of treated like the redheaded stepchild of the dealership. And it's all the way in the back of the dealer, 100% of the time next to a train track and a graveyard. So once you get there, it's normally a journey, but the main problem that they have is that when they write an estimate, typically in a CCC1 estimating platform or an Autotex or Mitchell, something like that, that's what they're going to get paid off of for their claim from the insurance company. Now, the issue is then that has to be replicated, double entried, and put directly into the DMS on an RO as well. So you can imagine now I'm a body shop doing 100, 250 repairs a month, but I'm doing it all twice. So that is a major disconnect that's happened in the industry, and that's what a void that Rome has been filling.
That's fantastic. I'm sure you know at Dominion DMS, we're really trying to focus in on how we can make it more efficient, right? There's a huge, what I call ecosystem of different software providers that the dealers have to use in order to operate their business end to end. You're talking about the end that's back by the graveyard, but end to end, from everything from digital retailing all the way through to collision estimating and everything in between. So we're really focused, and it sounds like you are too, on finding places where we can eliminate duplicate entry, bottlenecks, and truly get to a more integrated platform for the dealers.
Absolutely. And I feel like the better job that you guys do at working with your partners. I know in the past we've had some longstanding companies that like to add up those fees really quickly, and you don't really know why you're paying them, but just the fact that you have to, it is what it is. And I think that there's definitely room for a disruption in that space to say, hey, we're going to do things a different way. That's really a win-win for everybody. So, and I think you guys have done a great job so far.
Great. Well, thank you. Well, we're not here to do everything like everybody has always done it. We're here to try and change the game or be disruptive, as you said. We're sitting here in 2023, and we're in what I like to call an ever-evolving industry. Nothing ever stays the same in automotive, whether it's the manufacturers pushing on EV, or the different states and maybe different implications that they might have on the dealers in different ways. As you and your business look at 2023 and maybe some of the pitfalls or opportunities that dealers might face this year, what do you see, and how are you preparing to help them?
Well, obviously, we've all seen it with the interest rates kind of going crazy, supply chain issues, shortage of those semiconductor chips, low inventory, and all those things factoring together typically mean a poor forecast for new car sales, right? I mean, there's going to be harder to get a hold of those vehicles, are going to be more expensive. And we've already seen a drop from 2021 to 2022 of 8% for those car sales already. So really what that means for me, at least, is that the dealers are going to start looking at fixed ops to recapture some of that revenue. And we all know that a lot of the real money's made in service. So a lot of that, they're going to be focusing on, hey, how do I improve my operation to get the most bang for our buck? And for those dealers, typically about 36% of them have body shops. And then if they're looking to grow their business, what's cool about that kind of sector is that I have dealers in our family that spend 6 figures a month on advertising. And in a body shop, you can spend 0. Why is that? Well, you have the largest companies on the planet, Geico, Progressive, State Farm, sending you work, and the better job you do, the more work you're going to get. So right. That is a huge opportunity there. But the issue comes is once you get that volume of work, can you get it out in a timely manner? And that's where we come in, to put in that process to help them get those cars in and out and to really grow those relationships. Because obviously, there's definitely a pecking order of shop performance. And if you're outperforming the other guy, you're going to get a better crack at that new work. And then on top of that, you're going to get total losses. That's an opportunity to sell a new car and get a bigger client base, because you're going to be working on off-brand vehicles. So I see that being a big positive on the fixed ops side. Yes, there's going to be some challenges in sales just because of the climate and where we find ourselves in 2023 after COVID and all the challenges that came with that. But obviously, with that, we're going to have an opportunity for fixed ops, I think.
Right. That's true. I never really thought about it, but you're right? Thinking about the Super Bowl advertising, I'm sure every single one of those insurance providers was advertising there, along with the car companies. But it's great for a body shop to have that kind of power of the insurance provider behind them. It's fantastic. Well, at Dominion DMS, we believe we should not only be providing the best DMS to our dealer clients to ensure that they are as deeply integrated with all of their other software solutions and OEM providers as possible. If you had one advice for me and my team as we move forward with this strategy and along this journey, and it is always a journey, what would that be?
Well, I feel like very few people know the pains that people like yourself go through with product development and working with engineers and programmers. And I feel like there's two sides of that coin where you're saying, hey, you need to listen to customer feedback, which is very important, but also you can't make everyone happy either, right? So there's going to be those dealers that they want this specific report, they want this specific thing to function this specific way, and sometimes it's just not in the cards. I would recommend kind of applying Pareto's principle to that, where if it benefits 80% of your client base to go with those, and if it's a 20%, probably not. And typically what I've seen happen in the past with other SaaS companies is that if they really force the issue, you could always give them the I don't want to do it price and have custom programming happen. And that seems to be pretty successful, I've seen so far.
It's funny that you mentioned the 80-20 rule. I just shared that with some of the members of my technology team this morning. So, there are trade-offs that you always have to make in any business, regardless of whether it's technology or not. But you're right, everybody has wonderful ideas that they'd like you to implement into their solution, or into your solution. If you're talking to a Dominion DMS dealer out there who has a body shop that's not currently using Roam Technologies, is there anything you'd like to share with them about the consideration of Roam and how they might go through a sales cycle with you and your team?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to just have a consultation. I can show you all the benchmarks of shops just like yourself to see where you fall in profitability and performance to make sure you're getting the most out of it. That's typically our first starting point, is saying, hey, where are you relative to your peers? And is your revenue in line with industry best practices and standards? And then once we kind of look at that, we see what the benchmarks are, what their potential is and their footprint, and then kind of go from there. Because obviously my goal is at the end of the day, this relationship is going to help you grow your business. And if I can't do that, I want to be upfront and honest about that and say, hey, this is where you're at. This is where I can save you time. This is where I can, help you improve your process. But obviously getting a good starting point and sharing with them, hey, this is what we've seen in other shops doing similar things in a similar market. I think that's a great discussion to have to make sure that they're capturing everything they can.
So kind of an average return on investment that your other clients are experiencing today.
Correct, for sure.
Excellent, excellent. Well, as you can probably see here in my office, there's some white walls. We just moved into this office in Boca Raton, Florida, and we have decided to name our conference rooms here after muscle cars. So since we're both in the automotive industry, James, and since I'm here in this office with a couple of conference rooms yet to name, what's your favorite muscle car? Maybe make, model, year, if you're interested.
So I would have to go with the 1968 Ford Mustang GT. Mainly the Bullet, which was driven by the late great Steve McQueen, and I think a few years ago, that car sold for about 3.7 million. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's a pretty good one. Well, we already have a Mustang conference room, but I like your pick. It was one of our early picks as well. James, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's great. I mean, I think that's so cool that you named your conference rooms. I've never thought of that idea.
Well, maybe you can start one as well. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, James. I really appreciate it. And I really also just appreciate the partnership. We're very lucky to have a number of great technology partners like Roam Technologies that help us fill some gaps that dealers need that DMS doesn't typically cover, but technology partners that are also as interested as you are in driving efficiencies into that process and trying to eliminate duplicate entries. So if you're out there today and you have an interest in a new collision estimating and process improvement system for your body shop, please give Roam Technologies a try and reference them on our DominionDMS.com website. James, thank you for your time today.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Take care.
Hey, see you later.